Well, hi, and thanks for joining me in my shop here. I'm going on, I think, video number, I think it's 4 for the car radio here. And against perhaps better judgment, I'm continuing to try to repair this radio. Better judgment comes from two or three things. One is I don't have any information, no schematic, no nothing on this radio. Number two, it was loaded with metal filings and stuff like that. I suppose debris from previous car bodywork and stuff. And lastly, it doesn't work. So without a schematic, it's a real challenge to, without doing a lot of just guesswork, just changing stuff willy-nilly. But what we're going to do today, since it's all cleaned up now, is we're going to connect it together, hook it up to power, hook it up to a speaker, and see what it does, which is worth doing. And we'll go from there afterwards. So now I have one circuit board that's completely separate, and the wires that go to it are here. And in order to remember how to hook it up, I took a photograph, and that's what's on my tablet here. So we're going to take a look at this and wire it up the way it should be. So now make sure this is in the right position to begin with. Well, well, I'm not going to get it in the right position, but we'll get it in a position where we can still wire it. So let's see. I want this like that. And yeah, that's a bit of a challenge. So this is turned over from the way it was. So this should be turned over from the way it was. And that puts the white one here. Puts the green wire onto this tab. Which tab? It's hard to see these things in there. There it is, way over here. It's not making sense. Looks like a red wire goes over here. This one's got to go. No, this isn't right at all. No, this isn't going right at all. Okay, so this white wire, this is the correct way now. I can see this much better in the picture. So, white wire goes there. Okay. And there's a red one that sneaks over to here, and that's got to be this wire here. Then the green one heads towards the center pin. Here it is here. Perfect. You know, if you take something apart and you don't bend all the wires all over the place, they'll be sitting roughly where they need to be to go back to where they were. Which maybe you can't rely on that, but it's very reassuring and helpful. So when you pull things apart, don't knock all the wires all over the place. The last one is this black wire. Where's this black wire going? I don't see a black wire on the... Okay. Now what was I just saying about wires going where they want to go? This black wire doesn't appear in the photo at all. What is it? It looks very much like a ground connection, as you would suspect it to be. So, maybe we can leave it out of the picture right now. I mean, it is out of the picture. Maybe it's in another picture. Okay, so where is it? It's at the end where it's in here. Yeah, it must be connecting up into this board. Yikes. Well, let's leave it off for now. I think it's just a ground. If we don't get anywhere, we'll figure it out from there. I mean, saying just a ground isn't unimportant when it's a car radio, because the chassis is used very much as a conductor. Okay. So I think there's no other loose wires, just the black one. Won't worry about it for now. And now, power is easy. Power is going to be positive to here, negative to the chassis. You know, I can run a bond wire between all these chassis points myself if I'm worried that because they're unbolted, they're disconnected, and electrically they have to be bolted. I'll just run a clip lead. In fact, why don't I do that right now before I forget? And another one here. Okay, so the three chassis parts are now connected together. So I don't think that'll be a problem. Now, next problem is the speaker. The speaker. Let's see. There's a bundle of wires coming out. They're numbered. Somebody's numbered them. 2, 2, 3, 1, 1. That's not very helpful. Okay, so if we look at where the wires are coming from, yeah, well, coming right off this control. It's a little surprising. Well, we can operate this without a speaker connected. It's not the end of the world, and we can fiddle around and get the speaker going. Here's my speaker. Get a couple of clip leads ready. Here. You know, white or ground. White or black, I gotta be ground on these wires, I would guess. But it is just a guess. Or maybe I can see the white. Well, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, back up. Why do you need a ground when you got the car? Yeah, so maybe none of those are ground. Hey, let's find out. We can find that out. We can test for that. I need 5 wires. Maybe it's 5 speakers. I don't know. That's interesting. None of them. None of these guys. Now, what are the chances one of these is not even a speaker wire, it's something else, like a light or something like that. So we can operate the set, we can look for voltage on those wires and try to convince ourselves a little more before we hook up a speaker to it. So now, next thing is volume control. Most likely this guy here with the on-off switch. That's most likely the volume right there. We'll turn it, set is on, volume is down, balance in the middle. The rest of it, who knows? I think we're ready to put a little power on this now. That's pretty easy to do. We'll use the variable DC supply I have. It has an ammeter on it, so as we begin to draw current, we will see that right away. So why don't we watch the excitement here on the meter? Watch the excitement here. I can put this over here, I think, amongst this major bundle of wires that I've got going on here. In case you wonder why it is I throw the camera to the ground periodically, it's because the camera wire gets mixed up in my lead wires and test wires and everything else. And next thing you know, that's pretty certain to happen here too. So I apologize in advance in case the camera goes flying. Now, here's the DC supply indicators. This is the voltage. 12 volts is up around here somewhere. And this is 1 amp, 2 amp, 3 amps. 3 amps, and I think this power supply is finished, so we shouldn't see that. Got the positive lead connected here. And you can't see anything of the radio anymore. Let's move this a little bit this way. I move you back just a bit. That means you're even more likely to go for a fly here. But we'll have to risk it. Okay, so you can still see this meter. That's the one to keep your eye on. Are you ready? I am ready. Voltage is down. Switch on. I left this in the off position. No, I didn't. I left it in the on position, volume down. So I can turn the volume up a little bit. Quite a bit, in fact. And now watch the current meter. Watch and listen. It's going up a bit. Well, you can't listen to it. They don't have any speaker connected yet, so there's nothing to hear. So it's very tiny current flow, which is a good thing. Now I did that, you know, I did not make absolutely certain these wires were not shorted when I did that. What a dummy. Dummy. Okay, but they're not shorted. So let's attach our speaker here. I'm going to guess that, first of all, one of these has to be grounded. So I'm going to ground this one. So I'm not that familiar with car stereo, so frankly, I don't know. Do speakers hooked up with one wire and the frame does the other? Or do they actually send two wires back to the speaker? I don't know. I suppose I could find out in like 10 seconds on the internet, but why bother when we can just gamble here? Yeah, let's gamble. It's not much of a gamble. Okay, volume's up pretty high here, so let's just turn it down a little bit. So I don't get too scared when it comes in. Let's see. There's one. There's a radio. There's a radio there. Okay, so let's put it on one of the radio ones. Okay. Ooh. Funny there. That's the antenna. Well, that sounds like a radio. Let me put a little piece of wire for an antenna on it. And let's tune this guy. Wow. I'm going to guess some of that stuff, that oscillation you just heard, is from this really poor grounding thing I've done here. And we still have this black wire off. Oh my. Doesn't that seem like an antenna? That really seems like an antenna connection. Okay, let's see if we can tune something in as it is. Oh, I bent the pointer here and it's interfering now with the... Well, I mean, we're getting all these radio sounds. Let's dial it up on my frequency counter here, which I have ready to go. One second here while I set this up properly. We're at 1502 on the frequency counter, and it's not connected to the radio. Let's do that. Well, let's at least get the output of the signal generator near the radio. After all, radios are very sensitive. We'll just put it there for now. Make sure it's not shorted. We'll stick a little antenna on it. So the signal generator is not actually connected to the radio, it's just very close. And this lead carries the signal generator circuit. I'm just gonna throw it like that. Let's see what we can pick up here. And the answer is we're picking up nothing at all. So let's bring the antenna into more direct contact. It's really sounding like a radio now, isn't it? Okay, so what I'm thinking is, this is the antenna lead, and, well, I don't know. Cheapers. Maybe there's an AM and an FM radio, and that's the antenna lead, takes the signal over to the AM radio. I don't really know for sure. But, oh yeah, there's a spot for it right there. Right there. I wonder why I didn't see that in the photo. But for sure, it goes right on this antenna connection here, right here. Get on there. Okay, now we'll put the signal generator back onto it. There. And we'll try again. We'll go up from 1 megahertz here. Nothing there. Oh, there it goes. No, 610. So there's a signal at 610. A local radio station. Let's. Go up to the high end of the band here. I gotta put something under here because I'm bending the pointer. The pointer is actually supporting the whole thing. Okay. Okay, I think. Okay, I'm still putting 12 volts into the radio. Actually, putting a little less than 12 volts into the radio. And I've just tuned it to the high end of the band, I think. So let's go up there. Pretty darn weak. Up there. No, let's go back. Seemed a little weaker up there. There's the tone you can hear. That's the signal generator transmitting 1,000 hertz tone. Seems pretty good. Yeah, the complaint with this radio is that it fades out. Now, could be that during the length of time it took me to get this operating, it's already faded out and we're listening to a faded signal. But I've compensated by turning everything up without knowing it. That's number one. And B, could be the problem has already been resolved by blowing away all that dirt and stuff. And three, maybe we haven't waited long enough. How am I going to know that this is falling off? One way is to just let it play like this for quite a while. Because I believe the complaint was after 5 to 10 minutes. So we're in the 5 to 10 minute zone right now. So what I think maybe I'll do is I'll hook up the meter over here. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'll hook up this meter, and we'll there's some new leads. Hey, I got some new leads. I actually got new leads. How do you like that? Eh? I can also put on I have a recording meter. I could put on a strip chart recorder. We could set this up and leave the strip chart recorder recording, and we could see over time, and there'd be a permanent record of the variation in the output. But right now it's around 4. And take a look at the time here. It's 10:43 in the morning. And the signal strength is 4. And I'm going to let this run for, let's say, 20 minutes or so. And we'll see.